Good day, and welcome to the Army GOCO MATOC webinar. Thank you for joining us. Today, we'll be walking through one of the most significant upcoming opportunities for the Federal Industrial Base, the U.S. Army's government-owned, contractor-operated multiple award task order contract. My name is Cal and I am your artificial intelligence host today. With me is Ab Vand, VP for Capture at GDI Consulting and a subject matter expert on these opportunities. Ab has over 30 years of experience in capture and proposal management. He is considered an expert in self-scoring as well as traditional proposal and capture efforts. Ab has extensive experience in large-scale construction contracts and MATOCs, including international experience. He has managed over 1,000 successful capture and proposal efforts and is a regular contributor to various online GovCon magazines. He has also held numerous training webinars for various APMP chapters and APEX, previously PTAC, offices throughout the U.S. Before starting, there are a few housekeeping notes I would like to mention. First, this webinar is being recorded and the link to the recording will be sent to you within 24 hours. Second, we will hold a Q&A session at the end. You can send your questions during the webinar by the chat system to the right of your window and Ab will address them at the end. Third, you can download this presentation by clicking on the link under File on the right-hand side panel on your window. We highly recommend you download the slide deck so that you can always refer back to it. So let's see what this webinar covers. We will first have a quick glimpse on GDI Consulting's capabilities. Then, Ab will discuss the general details of the GOCO MATOC opportunity and its scope of work. He will then discuss the proposal structure and go into a deep dive of the scoring system and its 14 score areas. Next will come a discussion of the source selection system and then Ab will share some recommendations on how to win on this opportunity. Finally, he will open the floor for questions. So, with that, I will now hand over the control to Ab to first give a short glimpse on GDI Consulting's capabilities. Ab, you can take over now.
Hello everyone and thank you, Cal. As Cal mentioned, I highly recommend that you download the slide deck so that you can refer back to it because I have a lot to cover and might be going a little bit too fast. If you have any problem in downloading the slide deck, just mention your email on the chat system and we'll send it to you by email. Okay, so let me very quickly introduce GDI Consulting and the services we have, and then we can dive into the GOCO MATOC opportunity. So here is a little bit about GDI Consulting and our track record. Over the past 15 years, we've built one of the strongest performance records in the federal consulting space. We hold a 98% win rate on OSS Plus self-scoring proposals with 97 awards secured for our clients just on that vehicle alone. On DoD opportunities, our clients benefit from an 82% win rate, supported by deep experience in both capture and proposal execution. We have worked with more than 650 satisfied customers, including over 86 major firms, several of which are ranked among the top 10 defense contractors in the US. And in 2024 alone, our team supported 289 wins, contributing to $19.6 billion worth of contract awards for our clients. Simply put, our company, GDI Consulting, delivers results and we do it consistently. Now let's take a quick look at the range of business development services GDI Consulting offers. Our proposal development services cover eligibility checks, self-scoring analysis, and full proposal support, whether it's a task order, a standalone bid, an IDIQ, a BPA, or a major GWAC submission. We also provide review services and staff augmentation if your internal team needs extra bandwidth. On the capture management side, we support everything from early stage strategy to complete outsourced capture. That includes dedicated capture management, opportunity sourcing and qualification, and support for major federal vehicles like OSS Plus, GSA Mass, Seaport, Next Gen, and so on and so forth. We also offer our proprietary platform, Capture Edge, which streamlines self-scoring, teaming, pricing, and proposal readiness across your pipeline. Beyond capture and proposal development, we provide a range of support services, including price to win, competitive intel, and formal black hat exercises to strengthen your positioning, as well as accounting preparations for DCMA and DCAA audits, and CMMC certification support. And finally, we offer training programs in proposal development, capture management, helping internal teams build long-term capability. In short, whether you need support on a single bid, search capacity for your team, or a full strategic partner, GDI Consulting offers a complete end-to-end set of business development solutions. Okay, that was a quick one. Let's start with the main subject of the webinar. So first, I'm using a GOCO MATOC abbreviation just to shorten the name, but the full name would be DB Architect, Engineer, and Construction Services to support industrial-based modernization at ammunition government-owned, contractor-operated, and government-owned, government-operated facilities, GOCO. So you can see it's a long name. So I will be using GOCO MATOC from here on. It's shortened. Let's start with the general information on this opportunity. The GOCO MATOC is solicited under the Army Contracting Command Rock Island, identified as Solicitation W59519TC25R0026. It's a nationwide, full and open multiple award IDIQ valued at roughly $5 billion. The government plans a 5-year base period with task orders extensions as needed, and probably one extra additional 5-year option. Following the Feb 2025 Industry Day and Q&A sessions and the September 25 updates, the final RFP is expected for release in the first quarter of fiscal year 26. So all qualified firms that meet the technical threshold and minimum criteria can receive an award. So there is actually no inter-competition between companies, and I will explain this later on. Let's take a quick look at the program timeline so far. So it all started with the draft statement of work, which was released in February 2025, setting the foundation for the overall scope and requirements. Shortly after that, the Industry Day was held in February 2025, bringing together potential offers and government representatives to discuss expectations and gather valuable feedback. We've probably been there. Then in May 2025, the draft request for proposal was released, giving the contractors the first look at the evaluation structure and submission framework, which is a self-scoring type, and I will come back to that later. By September 2025, an updated self-scoring matrix was issued, a key milestone that allowed companies to reassess their standing and adjust their teaming or documentation accordingly. The full RFP is expected for release in the first quarter of fiscal year 2026, meaning before Christmas, hopefully, officially kicking off the competitive phase of this procurement. And finally, the award is anticipated at about around 8 months after the RFP release. At least that was their original planning, giving offerors a clear sense of when contract selections will be made. This timeline shows a steady, transparent process, giving industry plenty of time to prepare, actually, collaborate, and we'll see how important it is, teaming for this, and then position themselves for success. So, to qualify for award, offerors must demonstrate sufficient financial and safety standing. These are the minimum eligibility requirements, so to say. So bonding capacity is a minimum of $200 million per task order and $500 million aggregate. verified through a surety listed in the Treasury Circular 570 or other FAR-approved securities. Note that this limit was originally $500 million per task order and $1.2 billion aggregate, but they have lowered that per the last score sheet of 12th September 2025. So it's now $200 million for per task order and aggregate of $500 million. The experience modification rate, EMR, must average 1 or lower over 3 years, validated by insurance documentation, obviously. These two criteria constitute a pass-fail gate. Failure in any or either of them automatically disqualifies the proposal from further technical scoring. So if you, as the prime, do not have either of these, this solicitation is not for you. Usually what problem that I've seen some companies might have is the value of the bonding. So larger companies can actually go for that, but you need to have at least $200 million bonding capacity for one contract, one task order. Okay, so let's now talk about the scope of the GOCO MATOC. This contract is an indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity, multiple award task order contract or MATOC, intended to support the U.S. Army's industrial-based modernization efforts at GOCO facilities. Its scope includes design, construction, commissioning, and facility improvement projects that enhance manufacturing safety, efficiency, and mission readiness. The MATOC structure allows the Army to issue task orders for specific projects under a broad umbrella contract, ensuring flexibility across the 10-year program life and enabling rapid execution of multiple projects across different sites nationwide, 7 sites. It used to be 6, it's now 7. I'll explain that. It is a central vehicle for advancing the Army Ammunition Plant Modernization Plan and strengthening critical munitions infrastructure to support future defense readiness requirements. So the scope of work under this MATOC is broad and includes both design build and design bid build task orders. Projects will address the construction and modernization of industrial facilities, supporting energetics, chemicals, and munition manufacturing across Army plants. This includes new facility construction also, major renovations, repairs, demolitions, and system installations such as mechanical, electrical, and structural upgrades, obviously. All work must adhere to federal and Army engineering standards, as usual, and you need to ensure full environmental and safety compliance. The Army may issue task orders that involve both architectural and engineering design services, as well as construction execution, to deliver the end-to-end facility solutions. So we'll have to see on those. So work under the GOCO MATOC will take place at multiple key Army industrial facilities that produce critical munitions and components. The first set includes the Radford AAP in Virginia, Holston AAP in Tennessee, and the Iowa AAP in Iowa. Plants focused on energetic material and ammunition assembly. Scranton AAP in Pennsylvania specializes in large caliber metal parts, while Lake City AAP in Missouri produces small arms ammunition. Quad Cities Cartridge Case Facility in Illinois handles deep drawn steel cartridge cases. Now, these 6 together, these locations represent the core of the Army's industrial manufacturing base, with the MATOC, which the MATOC is designed to modernize for next generation production efficiency. Now, I should mention also that based on the May 25th SAO, the Milan Army Ammunition Plant in Tennessee has also been added. Now, this plant was closed in 2019. But I don't know, but they might have some future environmental type plans for it. And that might be the reason that they've now included it. They've added it. So that's the seventh location, at least as far as the locations they've mentioned in the SAO. And this is a, you can see the locations of the 6 sites, as well as the contractor, the current contractor for each of these who is working there. Okay. So let's now dive into the proposal structure and how to prepare a winning proposal and get a seat on this MATOC. In addition to the cover letter and the table of contents, each proposal must include 3 volumes, and I'm counting the HTRO self-scoring matrix, which is attachment 0004 as part of volume 1. Essentially, it's an Excel sheet by itself. Now, for volume 1 technical, it essentially carries the bulk of the evaluation weight. Proof of bonding as well as acceptable EMR goes in here, as well as the write-ups for the 13 different elements that give you the score, and I will go into details of those. Volume 2 addresses small business performance metrics and subcontracting achievements. Again, you're supposed to provide maximum 5 pages like the others of write-up per contract. For each of these, you're supposed to provide 4 contracts. So in prior experience, there are 13 different elements or areas. For each, you can provide 4 contracts, and for each contract, you can write 5 pages. That's why there are 260 pages maximum limit that you can actually put in on the technical part. For small business volume 2, it's 4 contracts, each of them 5 pages, so 20 pages. Now, finally, volume 3 includes the administrative documents, the executed solicitation, reps and certs, and so on and so forth. I'm going to explain each of these volumes in the next slides so you can see what they contain. So volume 1 must show that the offeror meets the minimum bonding and safety thresholds and also demonstrates relevant project experience across up to 13 elements. For each of the elements, you can provide up to 4 contracts, as I mentioned, to showcase your experience. Each project reference or contract should include contract number, value, period of performance, and narrative of scope and disciplines involved. The government is going to use this data to validate the self-scoring claims that you've done under the HTRO matrix, and I'll go into detail of that in a minute. So references must represent projects completed within the past 15 years. That's changed now. It used to be 10. Now they've changed that to 15, and demonstrate the breadth of experience required. Now, volume 2 centers on the offeror's ability to engage and manage small business partners. Again, here, up to 4 contracts can be used, which should demonstrate achievement of small business goals. And you get score for that as well. The contracts do not have to be the same ones that you use in volume 1, but could be. I mean, it's up to you. So you can use 4 completely different contracts here for volume 2 for past performance, for small business goals. It's up to you what you use. Okay. I should mention, you must be the prime for these contracts, whereas for the others, most of them, you do not need to be prime. But here, because they're gauging your subcontracting capabilities, you can only use contracts that you were prime on, and not contracts from your subcontractors or contracts that you were a subcontractor to. Okay, volume 3 contains the usual administrative portion of the proposal. Offers must submit a fully executed SF-33 and acknowledge any amendments forthcoming. all reps and certs under Section K must be included, and proposals must be valid for a minimum of 365 days, 1 year, and be signed obviously by an authorized company official. The usual. Okay, so let's now dive into the self-scoring part of this submission. So we had 13 elements under volume 1 and 1 element, so to say, under volume 2. Together there are 14 different elements that you can get scores on, and I'm going to discuss each of them separately. So before that, for those of you who are new to the HTRO and self-scoring systems, in a nutshell, the highest technical rated offerer HTRO system uses a self-scoring matrix to simplify evaluation. You as the offerer, you self-assess your technical strength by assigning points to specific experience areas and submit supporting evidence. In this case, most of it is in writing. In some cases, like in Oasis Plus, it was all official documents like Word document, things like that. Here you have to write a lot. The government then audits these scores for accuracy and may adjust them as appropriate. They might deduct some points or things like that. This method increases objectivity, obviously, transparency, and speed in source selection for large multi-award IDIQs. In some bids, they pick the top scorers based on the number of awards they want. Like, for example, on Alliance 3, they wanted 76 top scorers. So all they have to do, even if they receive 500 proposals, they just look at the top 76, the highest score, top 76. And they don't have to look at the rest of the proposals. So that saves a lot of time from them. In the GOCO MATOC, they will look at all submissions, but will pick those who are above a certain score, which I will discuss shortly. So that's essentially how it works. So offers for the GOCO MATOC, offers must achieve at least 15,680 points out of the 22,400 maximum. So if you're above 15,680, you're automatically awarded. And you get a seat on this MATOC. Your proposal is not going to be compared with other participants. Also, you're not supposed to submit any pricing, and it will not play any part in your score. Finally, all of the score is based on your past performed contracts, so you don't get any extra points or deductions based on the quality of your teaming, whether you have teaming or you don't have teaming, or a management approach write-up, or a technical write-up, anything like that. In fact, none of those are required and should not be submitted. Now, each score element carries a specific maximum score defined in the HTRO matrix, which is attachment 0004. You can see there are 13 elements, and then the 14th one is called SP. Each of them are equal in terms of points, 1,600 points. And for each, you're supposed to provide a maximum of 4 contracts. So 4 contracts times 400 points, you get 1,600 points. That's how it comes to 22,400 maximum points. Now, important thing, note that none of these are mandatory. So you might get 0 for some elements, but will be above the minimum threshold. That's good. You're awarded. So it doesn't mean that you have to have a point for all of these. As long as you're above the threshold, the 15,680 points, you're good to go. So it's really important to profile all your contracts based on all the 14 elements and then decide which ones to pick. Also note that except for element 3, which must use the same contracts as in element 1, okay, so element 1 and 3 use the same contracts. other than those, you don't have to use the same contracts for any of the other elements. So in fact, you can bring in new contracts for each of those elements as long as it answers to the requirements. That's the good thing about it. So let's review the general requirements that apply across all elements. So I don't have to mention them in each case. As I said, you can provide up to 4 contracts in total, and that's the maximum you can submit to earn the full score. All projects must be fully completed. This is important. No ongoing or partially finished work will be accepted. So you can only use contracts that were completed. Each project must have been completed within the past 15 years. So as I mentioned, this used to be 10 years. They've updated it to 15 years. Every project also needs to be either design build or design bid build, and specifically within industrial facilities. Projects can come from work you performed as prime contractor or as a subcontractor. But for subcontractors, their portion of the work must account for at least 40% of the total contract value. So this is important. If you're going to use one of your own subcontracts, or if you're using a subcontractor as part of your team, their work must be at least 40% of the total contract value that they're bringing to the table. Now, aside from element 1 and therefore element 3, there is no minimum contract value required. Element 1, 3, and 2, sorry. So element 1, 2, and 3, you could say there is a minimum value requirement. The others do not have a minimum value requirement. For elements 9 and 10, all contracts must have been performed within the continental US. And that's something. And finally, for achievement of small business goals, the last one, the 14th one, those contracts must come from the prime contractor experience only, as I mentioned. So you cannot use your subcontractor for those. Overall, these requirements ensure fairness, consistency, and relevance. So every submission accurately reflects your company's capabilities as far as the government is concerned. Okay. So now let's look at element 1, prime contractor experience. You can submit up to 4 projects for this element, obviously, and each must have been completed within the past 15 years, as we mentioned. I'm not going to repeat this from here on. Each project reference needs to include at least 5 engineering or construction disciplines and at least 1 acceptable infrastructure discipline. We'll go over these in the next slide. So 5 each contract. So overall, 5 engineering construction disciplines and at least 1 acceptable infrastructure discipline. When it comes to contract value, scoring is based on the dollar value of each project. So project values over $500 million, you get 400 points each for each contract that is greater than $500 million. For each contract that's between $250 and $500 million, you get 200 points each. If the contract is $50 million but less than $250 million, you get 100 points. And you don't get any points if the contract value is less than $50 million. So that's how it works. So here I've listed the engineering construction disciplines, which I mentioned previously. And you're supposed to cover at least 5, as well as the infrastructure disciplines from which your contracts must cover at least 1. I will not read off them for the sake of time. So we'll skip this. You can always refer back to this. Now, moving on to element 2, architect, engineer, design experience. Under this element, the offerer may submit 4 references where your company acted as either a prime contractor or a major subcontractor responsible for completing the design work or design-only projects. So design work on design-only projects. These projects must have taken place in operating government or operating government or industrial facilities, so either government or industrial facilities, under uninterrupted integration amidst ongoing operations. This is essential. So uninterrupted integration amidst ongoing operations. Examples of qualifying work might include projects involving chemicals, petroleum, or energetic materials, upgrades to plant electrical power, or water interfaces, or work on plant wastewater, sewer, or instrument air systems. Other examples could include material handling systems for substantial non-liquid or non-gaseous material, or even the implementation of foreign technology within domestic facilities. So all of these are acceptable. Now, for element 2, the point score is again based on contract values as follows. So for projects greater than 400 million, sorry, that's 40 million, that was a mistake. $40 million, you get 400 points each. If the contract value is between $20 million and $40 million, you get 200 points each. If the value is between $4 million and $20 million, you get 100 points. And if the contract is less than $4 million, you don't get any points. So that's the point structure. Next is element 3, subcontract management. Here, for each contract reference you submitted under element 1, you must include documentation showing how many subcontracts were managed on that project. You can receive credit for up to 10 subcontracts per project. If a contract reference shows 10 subcontractor managers, it receives the full 400 points. If you use between 1 to 9 subcontractors on that contract, you get 200 points. And if that contract did not have any subcontractors, you don't get any points. So note that since you must use the same contracts you used in element 1, you should double check their score for element 3 and then decide which contracts you want to pick. Sometimes, I've seen it a lot, a smaller value contract might give you a higher score at the end of the day when combining the points for volume for element 1 and 3. So it's really important that you take into consideration what score you get for both 1 and 3 and then decide which contracts to pick. Now let's look at element 4, contracts for chemical and petroleum. This element focuses on projects involving the construction or upgrade of chemical or fuel facilities. Eligible projects must be delivered as either design build or bid build, and they must clearly involve chemicals or petroleum as part of the scope. This is important. Scoring for this element is based on the number of qualifying references you submit. So if you provide 4 contracts, 4 references, you get 400 points each for a total of 1,600. If you have 1 to 3, between 1 to 3 contracts, qualifying references, you get 200 points each. And if you don't have any contracts, obviously you don't get any points. Okay, now we look at element 5, energetic materials production experience. So to earn credit under this element, project references must clearly involve energetic materials. Energetic material is defined as a solid, liquid, or dough-like substance, most often solid, formulated with high formation, enthalpy, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, enthalpy, and capable of releasing stored chemical energy on demand in a controlled fashion and without oxygen. So these are the requirements. Now, scoring is based on the number of contracts you have, obviously. Again, if you have the full contracts, 4 references, you get 400 points each. Between 1 and 3, you get 200 points each, and no contracts, no points. Okay, now let's look at element 6, material handling automation. To qualify under this element, projects must involve non-liquid, non-gas material handling operations and may also include associated automation systems as well. Now, the point score is similar to the previous one. 4 references, 400 points each. Between 1 to 3 references, 200 points each. And no reference, no points. Next is element 7, utilities and infrastructure systems. Under this element, projects must be either design build or bid build, and they must involve utilities or infrastructure system requirements. Again, the scoring is similar to the previous one. 4 references. If you have it, you get 400 points for each. 1 to 3 references, 200 points for each, and no references, no points. Now let's review element 8, process hazard analysis or PHA. Under this element, the offeror may submit up to 4 contract references for design build or bid build projects that require the preparation of a process hazard analysis or PHA. Scoring is the same. So 4 references, 400 points each, 1 to 3, 200 points each, and 0 points, 0 contracts, 0 points. So this element rewards documented experience with safety, risk mitigation, and process hazard assessment in complex industrial environments. Okay, so element 9. Under this element, the offerer may submit up to 4 contract references for domestic design build or bid build projects where a site safety plan was required. It's important to note that only domestic, that is continental US projects, references can be used for this category. So if you perform projects outside the US, in, I don't know, in Europe, in the Middle East, whatever, you cannot use those contracts. Scoring is again straightforward. 4 contracts, 400 points each, 1 to 3, 200 points, and 0 contracts, 0 points. So this criterion rewards firms that have managed formal safety planning on US-based construction or design build efforts. Okay. Now we move to element 10, foreign technology integration for CONUS projects. Don't be misled by the foreign part. It's the CONUS project. So for this element, offerors may submit up to 4 contracts, obviously, for domestic design build or bid build projects that require the implementation of foreign manufacturing or chemical process technology in the final constructed facility. Only, emphasis again, only domestic projects are eligible for scoring. Scoring is the same. So 4 contracts, you get 400 points, 1 to 3, 200 points, no contracts, 0 points. This element highlights firms that have successfully transferred foreign industrial or process technology into US facilities. This is an important capability for modernization and national readiness as far as the government is concerned. Element 11 focuses on work performed as an operating facility where uninterrupted integration into legacy operations are required. For this element, you, the offerer, may submit up to 4 contracts for design build or bid build projects that fall under NAICS 2362, that's non-residential building construction, or NAICS 2371, which is utility system construction. So these are the NAICS for the contracts that you can bring to the table. Each reference must demonstrate successful performance at an operating facility where construction activities were integrated without disrupting ongoing operations. Scoring is the same as previous, 400 points for 4 contracts, 200 points for 1 to 3 contracts, and 0 for